welcome to the show, you beautiful bomba clots. Welcome back. Glad you made it. It's not a social production. That's right. We're doing it. It is Wednesday, April the 28th, 2026. Thank you once again for joining me. If it's your first time, buckle up, buckle down. If you've been with me from the get-go, wagwans, to my beautiful heterosexuals, to the beautiful faggots out there, over there, the bis, the tris, the black, the white, the yellow, the brown, the orange, the purple, Yurple, Nurple. Over there, wherever you're tuning in from, of course, whether it's Canada, down south, in the US, further down south, Mexico, South America, Europe, Asia, Africa, Antarctica, Papua New Guinea, New Zealand, of course, Senegal, Portugal, Italy, over there in Sweden, in Poland, in Austria, the stands, all this Uzbekistan, Kyrgyzstan, all the stands, over there in India, Bangladesh, Finland, the Finnish people. Welcome back. Thank you for joining me. Let's get a sip of this bad boy. Before we get started, let me just quench my thirst a little bit with this caffeine because we got a lot to discuss. Lots of it. And this is, hold on, please. We're queefing now. Before we begin, let me just tell you this episode goes out to the beautiful men and women out there. Bring me your tired and weary and old and what was the thing that they wrote on what did Lady Liberty write beneath her statue? What did she bring me your tired bring me, I don't care if you got STDs, I don't care if you got scurvy, bring me your scurvy, bring me your STDs. If it burns still after a month or so, maybe stay back. But then bring me your tired, your weary, your lonesome, your beautiful, heart. Bring it all. Bring it. Bring me. Come to me with your wooden leg. Come, slither towards me. What did she says something beautiful, but what I'm trying to say is that this episode, this whole podcast, by the way, is for the people. It's for myself, of course, first and foremost. It's for me, but then it's for the people. It's for the regular people who like to have fun, motherfuckers out there. So bring me your queefy grandmother and your grandpa with the leaky cock. Bring me that guy. But that was a long time ago. Perhaps it's best if we, you know what? We had a good run. We had a good run with the leaky dick grandpa and the wooden leg aunts. But maybe bring me some of the goods too. Come hither with the, perky titties. Bring me your perky titties and your, come here if you are recently widowed and you've lost your husband at, some sort of a freak accident. Or come here if you like to flick your bean and squirt and have your boy drink it, or others I'm not opposed to, if we're running a trade, if we are all partaking, let us all quench our thirst, neither here or there. But it's always good to remember the ladies and plaques. Nonetheless, we're here today. Thank you for joining me. If you've come here and you're like, man, what are we going to talk about today? What happened over the past few days, dude? Wagwan over the past few days, homie. Tell you what happened. Tell you exactly what happened. This is what I heard. I don't stand for this nonsense. Stop it. The violence must stop. The rhetoric, the political violence and the rhetoric and the rhetoric that is political and the violence. All of it needs to end. It must end. What did we have? A 31-year-old or dirty 31-year-old male out of California, if I'm not mistaken, by the name of Cole Thomas Allen. And I tell you what, I'm not too pleased with most people leaving the middle name out because some of these guys come in with the three names and it's weird sometimes. But they call him Cole Allen, but really it's Cole Thomas Allen. Say his name. Or maybe not, don't say his name. I don't know. The point is, a dirty 31-year-old decided to take a trip from California and then maybe make a stop somewhere else. I think it was maybe, I'm not quite sure. Did he go to Chicago prior? But then he went to Washington, this son of a bitch. He rented a room, he booked a hotel room at the Washington Hilton. for 3 days during the time that the president and the administration were there, and there was going to be a White House Correspondents' Dinner, and that's where the White House meets with the correspondents, and they have a din, and people eat food. People platonically eat food. You know what I'm talking about? Just Homo sapiens fucking, you know, opening their mouth holes, putting in the food inside their face, and then corresponding and asking questions and answering. And there's the press. There's a press. It's an Italian. It's a French press. There's a coffee vendor with a French press. I think, I'm not quite sure. Maybe they got espressos. Maybe they got, you know, lattes, macchiatos. Is that even a thing? I don't know. Pumpkin spice latte. It's not in season, right? But I've heard it got pressed. There's the press. There's coffee involved. There's the admin. There's some journalists fucking, you know, journaling. There's some journalists journaling, you know, writing diaries. Your boy does that. You know, some people like to call your boy a journalist. Some people, I don't. I identify as a journalist detective. Okay, I don't just, you know, I'm not a single lane type of fella. Multiple lanes, all the lanes, some say. But nonetheless, this dirty son of a bitch, 31-year-old, disgusting whoreface, decided to go to Washington and then, you know, to be a disruptive asshole is what he decided to grab a bunch of guns. I think maybe he had a pistol, I heard. He had a shotgun, maybe a couple of knives, maybe some, I don't know what else he had. This is allegedly all of it. Of course, he broke in. Whilst the correspondence dinner was about to take place, everybody was having a great time. Dana White was there. That's what I heard. There was a mentalist or a Oz Perlman was there at the time. I think he does tricks and shit. And then other people there was an Asian chick sitting beside Trump. There was an Asian chick. I don't know I don't know what. Who knows? But other people were there, and my goodness, people, everything was going fine. The dinner was dinnering, and the correspondence was corresponding. Oh, you should have been there before the chaos took over. My goodness, the correspondence and the people who were journaling. Jeez Louise, one of the best journaling and correspondence I've ever seen. Until this son of a bitch got in there, ran past security. He ran past security really fast. And that's that. I'm not quite sure if I don't know if it's definitely, he did that. He does have that, you know, fast twitch. He had that fast twitch. I'll give him that. He had that fast twitch. I think he's, you know, half and half. I think, you know, and you never know which half did he get it from. Who knows? I'm not quite sure, to be honest with you. Many questions to be asked, and plenty of deducing must be done. Nonetheless, he ran through. There's a video of him running past security in the lobby area, and then security guard, somebody just fucking, like, you know, just somebody, you know, kneels down and, you know, points their finger or gun. I don't even know if they had enough time to draw their gun, but somebody knelt down. There was an image of somebody kneeling down. There's another image of somebody getting caught off guard. Maybe it was the same fella that got caught off guard. He had his back turns, and then all of a sudden he looks, and then boom, there's a flash. What is it? And next thing you know, allegedly, 79 shots were fired. I'm not quite sure how many shots were fired, but shots were fired. 2,000 rounds were emptied out. Hollow tips. Give more gun jargon. The guns were girthy, made of metal. Then they had a shaft, and, you know, gun jargon. Get the people going with gun jargon. Oh, fucking! You can smell the bullets in the lobby. You could smell the bullets in the lobby. Pedestrians on the street even said, you know, some guy was walking by. He's like, I could smell the bullets. Some guy said that, maybe. Nonetheless, this guy tried to do an assassination on the president, I think, and people in the admin. He said, and he wanted to get people from the top to the bottom. He was a top to bottom guy. Top to bottom, that's what he said. I think he likes to start from the top and I hit it from the bottom. Many of us do start that way. It's easier to start that way, but, you know, I myself like to start on top, and then eventually I'm a I do my best work on the bottom after I finish, of course, given a few. I start on top. I always, like a gentleman always starts on top. You don't want to be like, all right, let's start this off, and you're on the bottom. No, that's, do the work. I do the work. Start on top, then you move to the. I'm not quite sure if this was. I'm not quite sure if that's what he was talking about. I'm talking about sexual activities right now, top to bottom. I'm not sure if he's top to bottom in the bedroom or just top to bottom. I've done bottom to top. It's just, you've got more energy in the beginning. So start off top, if I can put in the work, and then use Krav Maga to fucking, fight that. You gotta reverse that, let them do the work. Let them, let the fatties with the titties do the work. I'm talking, it's physics. Let them, you ride the wave. You ride it. Don't sweat it all out on your own is all I'm saying. But start off from the top guy, top to bottom guy, this guy. And then you switch it back, of course. You bring it back to the top, and then you go back on the bottom. You really can't stay in one position. I'll say that. I've never stayed in one position. Neither here or there. The point is, ladies and gentlemen, that he wanted to do a damage. He wanted to come in there and inflict damage. And I don't know what he did before, but apparently he was a teacher. He's a male teacher. I've always said, be careful of male teachers. Why would we even need male teachers? From the ground up all the way to university and the post-med. Why would you need a male teacher? Have females, because they're friendlier. The chicks, the young ladies get along with them, and the young men have someone to look up to, like their tits. You have a guy teaching. Nobody learns anything. Can't even remember any of my male teachers coming up. Maybe like, no, I really got to think about it. But I'm telling you, the ones with the nice tits, there was a few. Can't recall their names at the moment off the top of my head, but I remember the titties. And that's, so I've said no to a male teacher since some time ago. I said that, but he was apparently a teacher, and he was a mechanical engineer, or he graduated from Caltech from mechanical engineering. So he was an engineer. And then there was a video of him, this disgusting son of a bitch, Cole Thomas Allen. He was an inventor. I don't know what he did. I think he figured out a way to put brakes on wheelchairs. And somewhere along the lines, that's... Where did it all go wrong? Where did it, you could retrace back the steps. Were there signs? Apparently he wrote a manifesto, and they found a manifesto real quick. This son of a bitch wrote a manifesto real quick that he's unhappy about things or whatever. I didn't read it. I don't care. It's about 1,000 words of some retard apparently writing an alleged manifesto. I'm telling you right now, this could have all probably been avoided. I've always been, I'm an advocate for people, fucking hitting the big times, fucking getting filthy rich. I'm not saying, of course there's responsibility on him, but also, maybe, what if that invention did take him to the fucking moon? You know what I mean? What if he showed up at Shark Tank? What if we were giving him a chance? What if we said, you know what, Cole Allen Thomas, this is fantastic. What if wheelchair brakes fucking, made him, a multi-millionaire? What about then? Would he have gone down this path? Who knows? So this again, I'm a person who believes in, I'm not a scarcity type of mindset. I'm that type of, let's make everybody fucking, and this guy came up with it. It wasn't that great. You could just, wheelchairs, they don't really go anywhere unless, and even if they don't stop and happen to whatever, if a wheelchair doesn't stop and continues going, and then the person on the wheelchair tumbles and falls, and who cares? It's a handicapped person, first of all. So I get it. Yeah, the product wasn't good. The people, that it's aimed to help, but we don't really care about them. They're, this is an ableist podcast. I've said this from the get. This is an ableist world, and we don't care for the handicapped. Most of the time, they're not too pretty to look at. And, physically they're cumbersome, mentally they'll drain you. But it's a thing. We put up with them. And this guy decided, I'm going to fucking focus on making a break for wheelchairs. And maybe we should have, I don't know. Again, I'm not too, I get it. The product wasn't, it didn't fucking have me all head over heels. I'm like, oh, let's, but I'm just saying if that was a success, then who knows? But that's his fault. That's his, fucking make a better product. You know what I mean? Make the wheelchairs go faster. Make it a little bit looser. Put a eject seat on the, put a eject seat underneath the seat cushion and then make them eject with a parachute. Do that for the wheelchair community. Maybe it'll make, tolerating them a little bit easier, but who knows? This guy went down a dark path. He decided to do work on wheelchair brakes and become a teacher and do mechanical engineering. And all of a sudden he's like, I'm gonna fucking take a gun and try to go at the White House correspondence. I'm gonna write a manifesto. So all that happened, and what do you say to that? I say this is my take on the whole thing. A fake. That's my whole take on the thing. Of course, I don't have any. We're an issue by issue, candidate, podcaster. Just issue by issue. This particular one I believe it was fake. I don't know for a fact. Okay, but this isn't. It's just based on what I see. It looks sloppy. It looks messy. It looks like they're not even trying at this point. And I'm a fan. I'm a fan. I just like to say I'm a fan. Again, if you come here, you're like, is this, which way does he lean? My nuts lean to the left. I touch every subject. Fuck, I'm there. I'm a fucking, if there's a subject, I'm fucking touching it. You feel me, son? I'm fucking, right there touching it. So if you come here, you're like, oh my God, which side is he? I don't give a fuck about your sides, all right? If it's, tackle it issue by issue. This particular one, yeah, this is the third time. This is the third time now. We've had 3 alleged assassination attempts, and now they're culminating. They're gathering together. We're gathering pace. We're gathering pace. This is the third one. The first one was the one with the ear. That one, there was effort in that one. At least there was effort in that one. There's a little bit of blood allegedly. There was shots fired. There's blood. There was a fist fight. So all that happened. At least that one, there was effort in that one. This one, and then there was a guy who showed up at the White House. I think he laid down in the grass or whatever. Whatever. But this one is, and we gotta unpack this. We're not gonna fucking rush through this one. We're gonna unpack this bad boy together. As much as we're gonna fucking, you get ready. Today's an unpacking day. If you're like, man, I wish there was a podcast that unpacks stuff, then you've come to the right place, because here we take things that are packed and then we unpack them together. So, the manifesto. Nobody writes manifestos. That's one thing I'll say. It's pretty gay to write a manifesto. Nobody actually writes a manifesto. In terms of and if it is, I'll say this, and because I don't know, if it is real, some people do gotta get fired. Like legit, some people, the guy that had his back turned towards this fella and then just kind of knelt down and pointed with his fingers, or that guy, the guy that knelt down, there's a video, the guy that knelt down, fire him. A lot of people should be fired if this is for real. And again, I don't know, I'm just going based on what I, internally, what I feel. If it is real, yeah, we gotta, because the third time, security services, they gotta all be fired. They gotta all be fired, replaced, I'd like to see some more footage. If is there a video of him actually popping off the gun? It doesn't matter. Maybe we'll see that later on. To me, it looks fake. It looks like we're not even trying at this point. I do like to. Here's the thing. I'm glad that it's. I don't want there to be real, fucking assassination. That would I'm glad that they're fake. I'll say that. But you gotta put a little bit more into it. You gotta put a little bit more into it. People are, because I get it. It's hard to get everybody in on the action and be like, okay, we're gonna have a fake, assassination. How do you act during a fake assassination, make it look real? You really gotta have good actors. It's hard to come by good actors. So what you're gonna end up with is probably mostly reg actors, probably not even actors, intelligence services actors, fucking plants. So they're not Daniel Day-Lewis's, fucking level of act. They're just, they can do the job. They can do, they can take coaching. They can take the lines. They can, do so. But I bet this is again, come to me if you are, bring me your weary hearts, bring me your beautiful conspiracies. Let us all have some fun together, okay? Conspiracies, conspiracy theories, people working together, okay? People working, that's what a conspiracy is. People gathering and working together to reach an ultimate goal, to reach an end, to, they have goals. People meet together, they plan for stuff, and then they execute them, and that's a bunch of people coordinating together. That's a conspiracy. I don't know why it's got this negative connotation, but nonetheless, yes, bring me your conspiracy written hearts. Let us all have some fun. We gotta, because this one, I'll say, again, the one with the blood on the ear, I'm not even, again, I'm just saying, I'm not saying I know for a fact, I'm just saying from my perspective, again, just looking at it looks sus, I'm not saying I know for sure, this isn't that, but I'm just saying, all of them now, putting them all together, and this is right now, we're in 2026, we still got till 2028 to go. At this pace, we're probably gonna have 2 to 3 other more probably assassination attempts. I say you gotta do better. We gotta collectively do better. And I'm glad they're fake. I don't want real fake. This is how you get rid of the fake. This is how you get rid of the real, by the way. And I bet like it sucks to be in that position. There's a lot of responsibility to be the president. Everybody thinks it's glamorous. It's a lot of responsibility. It's not an easy job. It's not a job most people want. And I bet they do get death threats. There probably have been assassination attempts in the past. There have been, of course. And there probably are some still happening. Again, I don't know. Out of the 3 right now, out of the 3, are all 3 real? Let's take a toll. Out of the 3, have all 3 been real? Or is there one that's a little bit sus? Are all of them sus? Who knows? I'm just saying, just for the sake of conversation. Because we're conversing now. Fire the Secret Service. It needs to be reiterated. Fire them because it's the 3rd time. It needs to be, a whole lot of people got to be replaced. For the next ones, I do want to see the actors, again, and I get it, we talked about you not being Daniel Day-Lewis level acting, and they probably tell you to don't overact, don't be out there like, oh my God, it's a whole gunfight, get down, and you look way too dramatic, so they tell you to like, look chill, that's one of the things that stuck out. The one with the ear. A lot of people were chill. It's just too many people are chill. I've never been near a gunshot, but I would, if you know about it, you might be like, all right, cool, we're going to gun range. I'm not gonna, fucking be jumpy and shifty when a gun goes off. You expect it. You expect it because it's there. The setting is there. That's where you're going there. It's context. You go there, you know what you're gonna be doing. But if it's a surprise gun, I'd be, and fucking Sigma male over here, but still, I'm just saying, uncalled for gunshots, maybe, yeah, Sigma all day, every day, but I might just, leak a little bit, and that's to ensure everybody's safety. A Sigma male who leaks a little bit during an uncalled gunshot is prepared to assist others, because, less bodily fluid to carry with you. They don't teach you this shit. Leak a little bit. That's if you see your boy ever. I don't ever want to be in that sitch, but should your boy ever be in a sitch where there's random gunfire going on, the Sigma will kick in. Leakage might occur, and that is again something that's not, because I might have to go carry an elderly woman. What do you want me to like carry her with my full bladder, or like kick a child in the neck? To get to the said elderly woman, I might need to do all these things. You want me to do that with a full, they don't teach you this shit. So empty the bladder, and I'm not gonna be ashamed of it. I'm damn proud of it too. Sigma male mentality all day, of course. But again, the actors are a little bit too chill. Like, I'm just saying, it's from my stand. Like, I think there was a guy slurping on salad or, chewing soup or something. I don't know. Some guy was eating, and I don't care for people who consume salad or soup, whether you're slurping on your salad or chewing your soup. It's the correspondence dinner. Have some self-respect, and for the others who attend as well, eat some steak, eat some meat, be a real man, be a human being. Okay, grab a steak and eat it with your hands and your mouth like a real human. Don't be cosplaying human. I'm gonna pretend to eat some, drink some salad and chew some, soup. I've never respected people with soup and salad in their diet. I've not, as a grown adult, that soup and salad are for children because we want to keep the good stuff for ourselves. Let's be honest. You gotta eat the greens, because you want more meat. As an adult, I want more meat. I'm like, eat your salads, eat the greens. There's nothing, what are we fucking green people here? No, what color are we? Like, different shades of meat. That's what you intake. That's, we're not fucking vegetarians over here. Whenever I see a fake person eating, soup or salad, I immediately know that's an indicator. That's a fake person. That's probably an alien. It's probably a rabbit dressed up as a man or a woman. That's probably, that's probably like a bipedal, that's one of those smart apes that just got loose and is pretending to, blend into human society, eating salad. What are you talking about? Eating salad or slurping soup or whatever. Point is, so I get it. The actors were a little bit too chill for my taste. They were too relaxed. It was gunfire. It was like the Asian chick next to, she did one of those, one of those. But like, I need a little bit more. And Oz Perlman was there. I think he's a mentalist. He's a magician. I'm not quite sure if there was any, sleight of hand going on over there. Who knows? We're just, for the sake of having fun, of course. This is just a fun podcast for your entertainment services and pleasure. So may you be pleasured, my conspiracy-ridden, beautiful people out there. I wouldn't mind you guys, acting a little bit, fucking, put a little bit of effort into it. Don't be too chill. There's a gun shop. Be a little bit more, fucking somebody, scream a little bit, louder. Get, there should be commotion. Because you see when like gunfire goes off, you see like, there's a teenage takeover, there's a street takeover, and then they're all teenagers, driving on their bikes or, doing skirt with their cars, and, and then somebody finally grabs a gat and then into the air, and then you see the commotion when there's a real gun, and then there's actual gunfire, there's commotion, people fucking run for it. A little bit too chill in the crowd. People are just like sitting, what is this, another gunfire? Nothing to worry about. I'm just gonna sit here and slurp some salad. Whatever, dude. Question that guy. Fucking sus city. No, but ultimately, I'm glad that people, we do got to make these fake events happen, because there are real threats. But how you nip it in the bud is you make the fake events, and then we come out with we point fingers. One side first. There's many aspects. There's one side points to the other side, says it's your fault, and the other side points fingers back to the other side, and then it's your fault. So that keeps reestablishes, your faith in the group, whichever group you're on. You're like, oh, it is their fault, and then people say that in one group, and then other people will repeat the same thing in the other group, and you point the finger, so it creates your desire for more of that, same Pepsi and Coke thing. You're like, oh, fucking Pepsi's better. You're like, no, Coke is better. It's Coke's fault. No, it's Pepsi's fault. It's the blues fault with the rhetoric. It's the Reds with the rhetoric and the violence, and the rhetoric is from the blue and the red, and the rhetoric and the violence needs to just rhetoric. So that happens. It's multiple things going on simultaneously, and I don't know any of these things for a fact. We're just having fun, of course, but then you gotta get in front of these things, nip it in the bud, because you can't have events where the real thing, you can't, in my opinion, and today, 2026, you can't touch Donald Trump or anybody else for that matter, in terms of like, you just can't, it's too much. We have too much training, we have the highest of the techs, we have all the monies, there's ample amounts of security. I think, no, some random teacher from California is not going to, some scrawny ass teacher who built a break for a wheelchair is not going to just waltz in and do a manifesto shooting. I don't think so. But that's just my personal opinion. For the next ones, I'd like to see a little bit more effort. And again, I'm glad that we have the fake ones, because I don't know about you, but I don't want anybody getting hurt. I'm not a violent person. I don't like violence, unless it's the UFC. Then we can all agree that that's fucking beautiful. But outside of that, or like football too. But outside of that, like not much, nothing else that I can think of off the top of my head. And then movies too, and violence in movies, yes. But outside of that, like fucking, lover, Sigma lover. And the next, again, we're halfway through the presidency. We're gonna probably have 2, 3 more of these. I'd like to see a little bit more, you know, a little bit, put some effort into it, okay? Equip Trumpese with a gun. He should have a gun on his body. If he doesn't, he should. I'm open to, do we have an Iron Man suit? I'm sure we have an Iron Man suit at this point. It's the right time to whip out the Iron Man suit, right? So we equip him with the Iron Man suit, with the highest of tech, made of metal, made of platinum, made of, I don't know, diamonds, made of gold, bulletproof gold, Iron Man suit, with guns on his wrists, AI all over the place, cameras, and as soon as the suit detects any form of threat, the visor on the helmet goes down and a guns a go blazing. Threats taken out. All right, so there's that option. I don't know if we're ready to show that to the world. You know, more security. Of course, we could always do better with security. The security should be, again, if it is real, people should be fired. You know, and that's very kind of the president to come and say that no, they did a good job. That's 3 times. If it's for real, some people got to get fired. Somebody's got to get fired. There should be somebody that gets, you know, the guy that knelt down. Fine. I'm not saying I would have reacted, you know, accordingly, but I can recall at least. Not, you know, at least 5 times when I was younger and, you know, you see people running, you definitely, you know, stuck out a leg and tripped a fella or a girl, it doesn't matter. You know, fucking kids being kids playing. When you see somebody running, come on, stick out a leg. And if that's you, stick out a leg 101, dude, in training as a security of the Secret Service security team. If you're doing the security work for Secret Service, fucking sticking out the leg is like, you know, fucking week 1. What do we do if we see a threat? Stick out a leg, you know, and that you learn that on the playground. Stick out a leg, you know, fucking trip a fella, a teacher maybe. It doesn't matter. The point is, as long as everybody's in on the laugh, you're gonna be good. So yeah, get that guy fired. And then the next ones, I like to see a little bit more, just, you know, Trump should probably shoot the next one. Or like before this, you know, we got 4, 5, 6, 3 more probably. I mean, you know, just depending on maybe 1 or 2 more. But I'd like to see President Trump just fucking whip out just a big ass fucking, you know, one of those giant fucking, you know, I don't know calibers and guns, but like a fucking handheld, you know, as opposed to, you know, not a foot-held gun, a handheld. You know, not one of these fucking guns that, you know, you gotta fucking go to chin to fucking shoulder. Not one of those chin to shoulder guns. A handheld gun, a pistol of sorts, long shaft, like maybe like 2 feet long. A revolver, a Class C revolver, you know, with a long shaft made of gold, right there. And it's like, you know, automatic, not semi, not saying, just automatic. And he takes out the son of a bitch himself and stomps on his head and curbs him and curses his mother maybe. But that's what I like to see, a little bit more effort. Next time, a little bit more effort. This one seemed a little bit like, unless again, of course, I could definitely be wrong. Who cares? Doesn't matter. We're trying to have fun here. Could definitely be wrong, and this could all be fucking for real, I guess, you know. But things that, you know, I draw the line. Somewhere that you got to draw the line. I say fake ass and tits. I'm not a big fan of it, but that's, you know, I'll put up with it. But, you know, assassinations, I'm not a big fan of any of it. But, you know, it's the fakery has got to stop, is what I say. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I'm glad that it's all done and over with. And the rhetoric. My goodness, the rhetoric, the violence, and the rhetoric, and the political, it's just got to. Everybody should mellow out. Everybody should just fucking calm down. Everybody should just relax, man. Unless you guys want to fucking take it all, but let's fucking. It is exciting to have a little bit fucking. You know, it's not exciting without a little bit of violence. Let's be honest. It's one of the most exciting times. This is one of the most funnest presidencies we've ever had. The next one's not going to be as good. Enjoy these times. Enjoy that. That's what I say to myself. Enjoy. The next ones are not gonna. Who's gonna want to come after anybody else, dude? Okay, Trump is the most entertaining president ever. Okay, give the man his flowers when his flowers are due. The most entertaining president ever with the most gunshot. Right now, he should drop an album at this point. He should drop an album, a gangster album right now. He should come out with Kendrick and drop a. He should definitely at least have one song at least with 50 Cent, Kendrick, Fucking make it happen, dog. Make it happen. At least one teardrop tattoo. One teardrop tattoo at this point. Come on. So yeah, allegedly that all happened over the past few days, over the past weekend. And it's fun. It's fun times. It's really good times. Fucking a little bit more like, maybe like, maybe have Trump wrestle the guy next time, catch the guy with, wrestle him, punch him a little bit, then take out the gap and fucking, Dumb criminals, ladies and gentlemen, dumb criminals. We are failing the youth in an unimaginable way. We got to do something because we are raising a generation of dumb criminals. I've seen this far too many times. It's happening in and around your neighborhoods. Maybe there's videos constantly of people grabbing SUVs, either their own or cars, and ramming it into places for the sake of thievery. We're failing our kids. Gotta do better somehow. I don't know what, I don't have the answers, but we gotta do better. California, there was a bunch of criminals, terrible, dumb criminals. Stole a car, rammed the car into a grocery store. They stole a car and rammed the car into the grocery store. So many things wrong with this picture. The car is worth than groceries. And if you're robbing groceries, you're robbing the wrong thing. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. We're failing. These kids are coming up, we're failing them. Somehow they don't know that it's not worth it to grab a car, ram it into a grocery store to steal essentially groceries. We're failing somewhere in society, I think, where we all have a part in this. I'm trying to, fucking raise at least, if you're going to do crime, I'm not saying do it, but smarten up a little bit. Smarten up. Rammed the car into the grocery store. Cops came to the scene. One of the cops got trapped inside the SUV as they were driving away. Ended up inside the car with the criminal who tried to ram the SUV into the grocery store. Told him to stop. He didn't. Eventually shot him in the leg, and then eventually pulled over, and he got caught. And that's just terrible criminals. We got to do better. Okay, go for precious items. The gold, silver, jewelry, cash. Cash is king. Cash will remain king. I hope at least. Cyber crime, something. Get your hands on a Bitcoin. Team up with a North Korean hacker somewhere. Move to fucking North Korea. Become a detector. Is that a the fucking retractor? Become a one of those people that flees over somewhere else. Detractor, there you go. Go to North Korea is what I'm trying to tell you. Make it, I don't know, I'm concerned. This is, if you stole the car, you get away with the car. The car is worth more than the groceries. What are you doing? The car is worth thousands of dollars. Rip up pieces, take it to a junkyard. Rip up pieces, take it to a junkyard. What's going on with these kids? There's another one in Sacramento, I think. They rammed another car into a jewelry store. Didn't even steal anything. They just injured a fellow who was working in the jewelry store. You're not even stealing anything. And if you stole the car, at that time, maybe you're like, but I don't do car thievery. I don't do car thefts. I go to store to store. I'm a store to store kind of thief. I have principles. I have rules. Pick a lane, stick with it. I'm not a car thief. I'll tell you that. No. That's just a getaway car. Stole the car. Get away with the car. Park the car. Put in a container, ship it somewhere else, remove the VIN number. The car is worth I'm just saying, we're failing our youth. There's got to be better criminals, at least. No? Because otherwise, I'm fearful for what's going to happen to crime. If it keeps going down this path, it's just we're going to have terrible criminals in the future. It sucks. It breaks my heart. In Scotland, ladies and gentlemen, let us go to Scotland for a second, if we could, together. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Scotland. Give it up for yourselves if you're ready to go to Scotland. Give it up for yourselves. A Scottish prisoner, a tranny prisoner in Scotland, just sexually assaulted a bunch of women in prison. And I don't know what to make of this. I'd hope to, maybe if we can come up with a solution together. If you have a solution for this, leave it in the comment section. You know, tranny, because they're not a big, it's not a big population. It's not a big population at all. You know, it's like trans population and the global trans population, probably less than 1% of the global population is trans. There's, again, the entire human population, less than 1% is trans. And then the entire human population, and then you look at that and you're like, what percentage of humans are criminals? It's a small, vast majority of people are not criminals. It's a small number. So take that number and then be like, where's the tranny in this tiny group? It's a very small number. It's very few. But still, there are people who are, you know, tranny criminals, and then they end up going to prison and in jail, and then they have an option. And in Scotland, I'm not sure what different countries do. I'm not sure what we do in Canada or the United States does. But in Scotland, I heard this, you know, in other Western societies. So just, you know, could be parallels, could be completely different. And I didn't take the time to look into it because, to be honest with you, I was busy jerking off. But the point is, ladies and gentlemen, that when I finished, I wiped and I cleaned myself off and went out for a smoke. But the point is, ladies and gentlemen, that yes, tranny prisoners, let us not lose topic and our focus and attention. Let us focus for a second, if we can, if we may focus for a second. That lad, focus on the topic that you're discussing. It is tranny prisoners. What do we do with these tranny prisoners that say they are girly girls, that they have the vaginas, when we full no, we know they don't have the vaginas. They've got cooks, they've got the cocks. They're coming in with their long hogs between their legs and they're identifying as girly girls. Ooh, look at me, big female energy over here, he'll say, weighing 350 stones. When he's carrying the stones, we measure our weight in stones, I think, in Scotland and in that region of the world, and that's something quite familiar with the rest of the population too. It's easily identifiable when someone asks you, how much do you weigh? You're like, well, that's an easy answer, 32 stones. And everybody knows exactly how much that weighs. Ugh, that's nothing. That's I weighed 50 stones when I was a wee bit baby. You weigh 32 stones. You're not even a full-blown human yet, are you? Exact measurements. Measure it in stones. Brought to you by the Scottish. The point is, ladies and gentlemen, yes, measuring in stones can be quite accurate. The point is, it could also be used in exercise. You're like, I don't want to join a gym. Grab a stone, go for a walk. Go for a walk, pick up a stone. Put it up your rectum if you don't want to carry. It's the first mode of hands-free exercise. Put a stone up your rectum and walk a few blocks. Blocks. The point is, ladies and gentlemen, what were we even talking about? Yes, of course. Stay focused on the topic. Tranny prisoners in Scotland. What are we to do with them? Here's what we do. Quick, you're under the gun. The katana is to your nuts. Come up with a solution to this problem. They should the women in the prison, if they choose to continue to want these circumstances, should beef up a little bit, start exercising, because they're not that many, but we will have a few trannies until this maybe, you know, resolves in the future. And in the meantime, the women in the gym and in the jail need to go to the gym in the jail and exercise, because you never know. Stacy might be cool, fucking Lauren might be cool, fucking Michelle might be cool, But fucking, Sam, might be a little bit fucking sus, dog. Fucking traps, hairy knuckles, a little bit, fucking couple of Adam's apples. It's a thing. So watch it. So beef up the, give the women in prison steroids so that they get jacked so they can defend themselves with the tranny prisoners. That's one solution. It's option number one. Option number two, we could make a prison for trannies. We could make a prison, we'll need two extra for the females who tranny to male, and then for the males who tranny to female, because they can't, so to make two, and you're like, there are not that many of them, then that's the same, I get it, it's with the sports as well, there's not that many of them, but whatever, it is what it, make one, make a couple of buildings, label them tranny prisons, and put them in there so that if anything were to go down, it would be at least on equal grounds, tranny on tranny, Let's get that statistic up a little bit. Tranny on tranny crime, that's not something that happens too often, at least I don't hear about it. It's mostly tranny to other. Let's get some tranny on tranny violence going on, The other option, we move them to the if they're male and they identify as female, you just go into the male prison. You go into the male prison. And that's, and here's the thing. This is what I would do if it was up to me. I'd get you off your medication, and you'd reverse back to your without, because you got to be on medicine, right? And like hormones, and you got to be doing like therapy, and you got to constantly taking stuff to, I'm not an expert on this, but it doesn't just, magically just, you don't just identify as a, female and you're like, oh, I'm fucking, I'm growing tits now. No, you got to probably inject yourself with some stuff. Who funds that, by the way? Once they're in jail, do we continue to fund? Because if they're in jail, they're not doing too well, so they can't be funding their own transition. Are we funding the transitions of prisoners too whilst they're in prison? Because what if we were to cut them off? That's what I cut them off. Let the dicks grow back. Let the balls drop once again. Let the tits dissolve and just let them go back into Gen Pop. Be Sam, but still. With dick and balls or whatever else you got. Yeah, let them revert. Tranny should be for extremely beautiful people who will actually fool you into believing they're females. That's the only type of tranny I can say that I'm a fan. If you're a hot tranny is what I can get behind. One that fools me that I could be like, holy shit, that's a hot chick. If I can't tell, that's a pass, you're good to go. But if you're once again, weighing 300 stones and, wearing a kilt and it's a ball sack just hanging down, oh my God, hey God. No, you're not, dude. You know what I mean? If you're hot, if you're extremely hot, it's a rarity. That's an extremely rare fucking breed of human beings who can fucking, make it look realistic and you'd be like, I don't even care. You might say, and there's instances like that. Where people are, hear the stories of the ladyboys in Southeast Asia. Sometimes they're fucking incredibly beautiful. Sometimes it might be somebody from somewhere else. You see a fella who is fucking Eastern European looking motherfucker, but also is a smoke show, and you're like, man, that's fucking hot. And then later on you hear, you're like, hey man, that's a dude, and well, fucking still at least they're hot. So that's my take on it. Let them revert back to their original state, manufacturing, whatever the manufacturer gave them, whatever, equipped them with that, you get the mods removed. You get the mods and the extra parts removed, and then you go back to regular prison. That's less costly on the taxpayer, because who pays for the prisons? They are private though, so I guess somebody could, start a business for tranny prisons. That would be, and then fucking do live shows, stream it. That'd be a banger of a show. Tranny prison, fucking come on, son. Can objects become demonically possessed? I'm glad you asked that. Thank you. Yes, they can be demonically possessed because a man just did something unthinkable. he purchased, or he went to a thrift store in Florida and got himself an electronic wheelchair, and he brought it to his home, and he was putting it on the lawn or just like the front area of his home somewhere, you know, on the lawn. That's probably where I saw it, on the driveway of his home. I can't remember if it was the lawn or the driveway. It doesn't matter. He brought it to his home, and he's like, oh, I thrifted this beautiful wheelchair, electronic wheelchair, thrifty, saving a couple of bucks. I'm gonna get this beautiful electronic wheelchair and, I don't know, gift it to my wife or daughter or husband or whatever, or my mother, whoever. It doesn't matter. He got it for someone, or maybe himself. And there's a video of him just, you know, putting it on the driveway, and takes a few steps back, and all of a sudden the thrifted, electronically equipped wheelchair spontaneously combusts and bursts into flames, ladies and gentlemen. And you're like, man, can objects be demonically possessed? Based on this one piece of video, I would say yes. I would say a hard yes. Objects can be demonically possessed. If you've not seen the video, I'm not gonna pull it up right now because we're not that kind of show. I can't, you know, we don't do that. We talk about it. I'm not gonna show it to you at the same time. But you can look it up on your own time if you like. Maybe you've already seen it, and this fucking hits really right there. You might have seen this video of this beautiful Floridian man, you know, getting his heart broken after his seemingly innocent electronic wheelchair combusted spontaneously, and he realized that he had been tricked by the thrift store, or maybe they didn't even know about it, but who knows? Maybe they're like, yeah, let's just, you know, let's just pass this electronic wheelchair off as a bargain, as a item that's on sale, because it's just a good thing to do, make a couple of bucks, it's secondhand, it's a win-win-win. Well, guess what? Maybe they knew that this electronic wheelchair was demonically possessed, and they were just trying to pass it off. And that's, you got to be careful out there. So how to detect if an object is demonically possessed? If it moves by itself, ladies and gentlemen, fucking, if you are about to purchase anything, secondhand items, always watch out, you know, just leave it for a second, and then, you know, quickly turn, you know, pretend you're not watching it, and then quickly turn around and be like, see if you catch it moving. If there are any, you know, if there's any electricity involved, see if it fucking, if the switches are, you know, if it blinks by itself, if it, you know, if it lights up by itself, probably demonically possessed. If it requires batteries, that's always a good indicator. If it needs to be plugged in, also another, you know, this, it works really well, it just needs to be plugged in. Demonically possessed. Demonically possessed 2026. Nothing needs to be plugged in unless demonically possessed, of course. So yeah, this is a horrible instance of just an innocent man trying to, you know, do something fun for himself and his family. What I recommend is you gotta now take a trip to Africa. Of course, get yourself a witch doctor from a tribe. Bribe them. You've now been hexed. You're gonna have to break the voodoo. Bribe them with goods and services, and by that I mean a whole lamb, a whole physical lamb, and you're gonna sacrifice that to the village, and there will be some words spoken and some smoke blown in your face. You can travel back to Florida knowing that the hex has been removed, of course, and your family is safe and sound. But always, please be careful of thrifted objects and items. And yes, to answer your question out there, can objects be demonically possessed? Although it's just one video, it speaks for itself, and it is not an anomaly, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not a fan of this. I saw this, and I just like to get it off my chest because it's bothered me ever since I saw it. A babushka was just caught between, you know, we're talking about a babushka, okay? A beautiful babushka. Caught in the middle of Russian gunfire. And next thing you know, she's being rescued by a Ukrainian military robot. And I saw this, and I didn't like any of it in terms of aesthetics. Because when we hear high tech and like modern living in society and like cyberpunk vibes, and like it's supposed to be a little bit more, it looked a little bit too gray. It looked a little bit like it had doomer vibes. It had like, you know, the video was gray. She was extremely old. So it's like, what are we even doing with the tech that we've got? We're rescuing babushkas now, and I gotta, you know, a specific spot in my heart for babushkas and grandmothers alike out there, but to go out there and waste resources on a they're old. These people are old. Babushkas are old. They are tiny. They have shrunk. It's been probably 2-3 decades that they have started shrinking. And anybody who starts the shrinking progress is not worth saving. So you see this, and again, it's during the whole scene, it's just like gunfire is going off, the smoke. It's like, it's rainy, it's muddy, it's cloudy. It's not what we'd like to see as the public. So aesthetically, we'd like to see, if you're going to save, to the next video, I'd like to see is a robot saving potentially. If we're going to have to, if we're getting force fed this stuff, and it's fine, and time goes on and we evolve and there's new incorporation of things in tech, and I get it. I'm a big part of it myself. One of the biggest parts, some say. The girthiest, others argue. I'd like to see a little bit of, if you're going to get me hard on rescue by robot, it needs to be, first of all, rescue hot chicks in minimal clothing or naked chicks preferably, all right? Have the background be sunny, palm trees, some sort of a beach setting perhaps, a woman who could give head after being rescued, not some babushka who's fucking tired of, life and then just fucking wants to, hold her recipes in her fucking pocketbook or whatever, and her fucking between her tits, and then she dies, and you're like, what about all the delicious food? You'll never know. She barely spoke. She barely fucking spoke. So I just want to say I'm happy with the tech. I don't like how it's being used, but that's just my personal opinion. If you're like, no, but I totally want to see more babushkas getting rescued, then I guess you don't like entertainment, and I guess I don't know what we're doing. If that gets you hard, then I don't know what we're doing. Real life shit. Nobody, that's things that people can relate to. A fucking lactating pair of titties getting rescued because the elevator broke down, let's say, in the inner cities. Something that people can be like, yes, inner cities, we get it. Communal living in the big city, being rescued by a robot. Oh my God, this beautiful bitch got, stuck in the elevator shaft. Who are we going to send? The 911 respondents are busy, answering a call to a burglary somewhere downtown, and the others are fighting off, terrorists. Who's going to help this lady? Enter robot, fucking, and then get that on camera. Fucking, loose titties, lactating, just fucking, out of the elevator shaft, onto the sidewalk. The sky is sunny. Birds are chirping, her tits are out, just lactating, no child in sight. We don't want that to be a whole fucking bummer and a downer. We're like, oh my God, yes, lactating titties all of a sudden. Oh, bring the baby in the picture. Nobody wants to see that. Better ads for tech is what I'm trying to say, ladies and gents. I'm not even sure if I'm on board with all of the tech. I'm not even some of it, yes, of course. Others, questionable at this moment. Like I've heard, we're going to be getting more AI and cameras and sensors inside the vehicles moving forward. Cars have become extremely, they're fucking full of bells and whistles. Back in the day, not too long ago, it was just like, gearbox, fucking handbrake, gas, brake, steering wheel, maybe like, a rear mirror. And, maybe a glove compartment for your, whatever. And that was it. And those are good times. And then eventually, we need more, safety and security features on our cars. And some of them are fine, legit. Some of them are fine. I'll tell you what, the backup camera, it's great. I'll tell you that. I'm happy with the backup camera. I'm happy with that one. Fine. Caught me there. You caught me there. I'm happy with the backup camera. What I'm not happy with is a camera inside the vehicle, because for me, it's a little bit intrusive. I don't want a camera inside the car. I don't do anything inside the car. Most people don't do anything inside, but I just don't want a camera inside the car. Okay? Feels a little bit pervy. And if it's gonna be pervy business, then I say, if you're gonna be a pervert, dude, fucking do it in flesh. Do it in flesh. You owe us that much, car manufacturers. From the billions and billions of dollars that we funneled into your dirty mouth holes. You owe us that much. Give us there should be human watchers inside the vehicles. There shouldn't be just there shouldn't just be a camera looking at your fucking hands and eyes. There should be a fella, you go, and they shouldn't be living in the car all the time, I get, because that's not feasible. But whenever you do get in a car, there should be just simultaneously somebody enters sits down right next to you in the passenger's seat. They don't say a word unless spoken to, unless you want them to speak, but they just watch you. I want a person, so talking about like an old school spook kind of fella, raincoat, fucking a hat, thick glasses, just maybe a cigarette, maybe a newspaper, and it doesn't matter when the newspaper's from because nobody reads them anymore, but just a newspaper for, again, aesthetics. If you're gonna have somebody watching, I'd rather, again, fucking 3 hours. We're gonna sit here and you're gonna fucking watch me like a man, or a woman. It could be a hot woman. I prefer a hot woman, but then things might get heated. Because things might get, if it's just raw sexual energy of, between a Sigma male and a hot automobile lady watcher who sits in the car with you for hours on end and just looks at your Sigma forearm on the steering wheel, and she can't help it. Her tits are getting perky, her nips are getting hard, her pubic hair is it's standing up, it's fucking, it's getting excited. Her bush is not frazzled, but excited, goosebumpy is what I'm trying to convey. Her bush is goosebumpy, because that's what the energy does. I want that, not just some fucking, we're just gonna maybe perv on you by a small camera that's either, visible or not visible to you. So replace, we gotta provide jobs for people too. We gotta provide meaning and jobs and purpose for people as well. So I'm just saying, let's compromise. If it's gonna be somebody watching you, I'd rather be a human, but that's just me. Again, not complaining about the backup camera. For the inside, human flesh. A 57-year-old German tourist decided to go to Egypt, ladies and gentlemen, and he decided to go. I'm not sure if he went there alone or with family members, but he went to Egypt, and he's like, I'm gonna go to Egypt. I'm German. I'm gonna go to Egypt and watch a snake charming show, because that's what I do. And next thing you know, he's at the local Egyptian snake charming show, and there's a beautiful Egyptian man with an Egyptian flute. Fiddle-a-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo, fiddle-a-doo-doo, fiddle-a-doo, fiddle-a-doo-doo, fiddle-a-doo, fiddle-a-doo-doo-doo, fiddle-a-doo-doo-doo, and that's traditional Egyptian dance music. Fiddle-a-doo-doo-doo-doo, just like that, yes. Classical Egyptian flute. For thousands of years, the Egyptians played that flute and that tune. That fiddle-a-doo-doo-doo, diddle-a-doo-doo. That's one of the songs that the snake charmers, all of them, throughout Egypt, that's one that they all know by heart, and they play that for the snakes. And the snakes get up, fiddle-a-doo-doo, fiddle-a-doo-doo, diddle-a-doo-doo, diddle-a-doo-doo-doo. And they're doing the fucking flute and the snake, charming. It's a charming man and a charming snake. It's a handsome snake with a charming man and a charming snake with a charming. It's a charming snake. Snake's got the old gift of the gab. Snake is a good with the ladies. That snake has got a leather jacket, and that snake likes to lean back with one leg. And just standing on one leg, and holding himself back against the wall with one leg, it's got a cool stance. The snake is a charming snake, and then the fellow who is in control of the snake is also a charmer. He's a charmer himself, the snake charmer, the charming snake. The snake gives out compliments, because that's part of Jesus Christ. See what I mean? Again, the Sigma energy. I have now leaked hands are a little bit wet. Man, that's soothing, isn't it? The Sigma energy has kicked in now. I may have crapped myself too, but that's just Sigma energy. Because we weren't prepared for this. I'm not ashamed of it. I'm not ashamed of it. Yeah, my pants are wet. And this is one of the... Some people might look at this and say, Rob, how do you create these moments? These unexpected moments of spontaneity. Why don't other podcasts do this? They don't want to be successful, that's why. I was not notified about a fire alarm going off. This could legit be an actual fire. I will not abandon ship. I will not abandon ship. Because a podcast may seem like a simple thing from the outside. It may seem like it's, all just fun. No risk. No danger. But in reality, my friends, at any given moment, it's filled with danger. Fires could spontaneously just burst out of nowhere. And it could be the end at any given moment. But I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm gonna just leave because there might be a fire. I think it's a hoax. I think the whole thing is a hoax. Because you've heard that. They say that the world is a stage and we're all in it. My ears are hurting, and that's a good thing. Oftentimes, when people are facing discomfort, they will flinch. They will say, I will choose the comfort, not this guy. I live in discomfort. We won't back away. We will not just be like, oh no, our eardrums. So the Egyptians, snake charmer, right? The snake charmer was playing his flute for the snakes, and the snakes were all like, "Man, this is a fun time for us snakes." The snakes said that. One of the snakes got loose, traveled up the German man's trousers, up his trousers, up his pants, and bit the man. He bit the German tourist whilst he was inside his pants. Bit the fucking bit the German man. And this is what happens when you show, you stand your ground. This is what happens. This is how diamonds are made. I can't hear anything anymore, but I feel good about I think today's, hey, and I know a lot of people can't afford this type of, like, Rob, sure, we might be in a giant, podcasting compound. We might have all the facilities and billions of dollars to spend. How do you do it, man? How do you create this real raw thing that you just did? And to that I say, ladies and gentlemen, we did it together. So the German tourist, right, went to Egypt. Jesus Christ. I'm gonna fire somebody today. I'm gonna get out there and fire somebody. I will fucking fire them. I'm gonna fire somebody so this shit doesn't happen again, ladies and gentlemen. I'm gonna send them out onto the streets and see their families die of hunger because daddy couldn't hold down a job, and then the children will end up homeless on the streets and become beggars and whores. Or maybe I'll let him off this time. I'll let the audience decide. The point that I'm trying to make is that this German tourist went to Egypt. He went to see a snake charming show. He got bitten by a goddamn snake. The whole point of this was to ensure that you guys don't get bitten by snakes. And one way you can actually resolve this is that introduce snakes into your life early. Do not just be like, I'm gonna not interact with snakes, and then put yourself in a snake situation, get bitten by a snake, and then end up dying looking like a total pussy in front of all your family members, relatives, people who knew you, your countrymen and women essentially, and disappoint them. And this is because now it brings shame to the German populace. But I'll say this to the German people: I love you. Do not be ashamed of this 157-year-old who was ill-prepared. Put it, and this is for wherever you are from, it doesn't matter if you're German or not, wherever you're living right now, put a snake up your trousers. Men and women, put snakes up your trousers. I myself have been podcasting with a snake up my pants, and I tell you, I can't feel my nuts at this moment. I can't feel my cock. It's bloody. There's pus coming out of it, but I am sure with enough time and resilience, my cock will be able to make a comeback, and I'm gonna tire this snake. I'm gonna be like, just bite it. Just bite it all you want. It's biting me right now. All right. And to the ladies, you're like, we don't have cocks. How do we fight this? Trap that snake. Trap that snake inside your vagina. Once it goes in, clamp it. All those Kegel exercises. Crush the snake once inside your pelvic floor. If it's slithered up and it's inside your pelvic floor, shut the doors and fucking squeeze. You should hear it crack. Just last week, I had a snake on my pelvic floor. Squeezed. Right there, just popped it out, dead snake. And it sent a message out that the human race does not negotiate with the Slytherin. There's that story for you. Somebody asked us a question and we're glad to answer it for you. How do I talk to my whore when she's on the rag? Somebody asked that. How do I talk to my whore when she's on the rag? Thank you, Brad, for that wonderful question. Your anonymity is of value to us, and you'll remain anonymous, and you're going to be anonymous for life. But Brad has a question that's concerning him, and it might be affecting you as well. So your whore is on the rag, and you're like, how do I talk to her? Just approach her like a human being. It doesn't matter that they're on the rag. They know who they are. It's that time of the month again. Be like, bitch, I see you bleeding because you've made a mess once again with your puss, and we love it, but here you go, bleeding again. Completely predictable behavior is just let them know that you're onto them. Let them know that you know what's happening. Let them know that it's going on and it will continue until they randomly decide that they're now drying up. If she's bumming you out, just be like, listen, you're bumming me out right now with this whole bleeding thing. Go do that over there. Go do that over there. All right. This again, it doesn't have to be verbatim as I'm saying right now, but this is how you talk to your whore when she's on the rag. Go over there. I don't want to see this nonsense. Come back. Either come when, in the initial stage, like a couple of days prior, or even day of is fine. A couple of days when it's close to the end, it's fine. The middle ground, and just get out of here. Take that mess somewhere else, pal. No one wants to hear you complain about your cramps. Everybody's cramping. Talk about your cramps so it's a little bit relatable. If you're like, how do I, meet her where she's at? I'm pretty sure you've cramped up many a time, so if you don't talk about it, take that time to relate to her. They like it when you listen and you relate back. If she's cramping in her tum-tum, she's cramping, right? Be like, I totally got like whiplash for 2-3 minutes and that was a nightmare, but now I'm over it. Point to other females who are not on the rag at that moment and just kind of like low key. You don't want to be so obvious about it, but just be like, Jill doesn't get her period right now, or Jill's, and that Jill could be like your sister-in-law or her friend. Be like, I bet Jill's not on her period. You know what I'm talking? So low key, just remind her that this doesn't have to. That we choose what happens. We pick and choose, and it's up to us. It's mind over matter. As it says, tell this whore it's mind over matter. All right. If she's continuously just bleeding, I'm gonna just waste money on tampons and cramp up here. Be like, there's better things to spend our money on, Trish. So these are just, again, doesn't have to be verbatim, but I hope this helps. Of course, if you have any tips on how to talk to your whore when she's on the rag, please leave a comment. We're a community, of course. I discovered this on my own. Of course, I did a lot of research, and it turns out that the female climax is actually a hoax. The female climax, you've heard it here first. The whole thing is a hoax, ladies and gentlemen. Apparently it doesn't exist. The female climax is, as it turns out, it's just all performative. It's just all performed. They don't even like coming. Women don't even like coming. They do it for us. They think we like it. The whole climax. Because that's the thing. Moving forward, I want you to do, once you've come, men, I'm talking to you specifically, and the females will actually appreciate this is Sigma behavior. Once you've come, that's it. That's it. They don't need to come. They physically don't need to come. They don't even, the whole thing is fake. The whole thing, that's why they go big. They're like, we don't get orgasms. We get multiple orgasms. Doesn't even exist. Ours is very clear. You see it. It's translucent. The jizz. It's out of the. Who knows? They say you gotta play with the G spot. The G spot's on the outside. The clit is on the outside. You gotta get the G spot is in the inside. It's a big long charade. They just like to spend time with you and just be like, you know what? I get it. I like spending time with you too. But we don't have to do this. We don't have to have this whole as soon as I come, that's what I do. With my, as soon as I'm done, the whole thing is done. The sex is done. We don't need to have this I'm coming now, more, deeper, the whole thing. I'm telling you right now, it's a hoax. Call them out. It's a coordinated effort by the female, by big female, essentially, by big female. They've gotten together a long time ago and they said, you know what, we're going to put on a performance and have multiple orgasms. Where are all these multiple, by the way? Multiple? You know what I mean? I can point to mine and be like, it's right there. It's right there. That's where it is. Or they'll get, multiple non-tangible orgasms. The whole thing's, it's just call them out. Just call them out. They'll thank you for it. They'll thank you because the burden they have to carry, all of them coordinating together, to agree that they have multiple, they don't even like it. They don't even like to, pretend, but they just, I feel bad, but it ends today. So there you go. You heard it here first. The female climax is a hoax. As soon as you fellas come, that's it. You're good to go. Now I have invented a game which I'd like to see go global, and we could do it in two different ways. We could do it either with a TV show or a program, or it could be done independently for anybody out there who wants to partake. The name of the game is called Eat Pussy or Cry Trying. Eat Pussy is part of the name, and then eat pussy or try crying, and then that's the second part of the name of the show. Contestants, players, will go down on their females and eat them out and eat that pussy out, and they'll try to get them to come and climax while simultaneously being pepper sprayed in the face, either by their lover, their female lovers, or just a third party who's standing by and spraying you in the face. And the name of the game is again called Eat Pussy or Cry Trying. The whole point is, however number of players are competing together, whoever gets to make their lover orgasm whilst getting pepper sprayed in the face wins the game. Contestants will level up to compete against each other, and they'll go up to the next level if they continue to win. If you can't make your woman come while getting pepper sprayed in the face and you're crying, well, then you've been eliminated. Again, whoever does it quickest and the fastest wins, and you'll compete until we'll find the fastest person who can eat his woman out, or her woman. It could be a female on female thing. Doesn't matter. And we could have the male version as well. We just had a we just had a moment in the show where we just discovered something, and we could actually, this is how the concept bubbles. This is how the concept, what's the industry term? Scales out. We not only, target males giving head to females, but we have women's giving head to men's too. So whoever comes essentially through head whilst getting pepper sprayed in the face, whoever does it the fastest wins. Now we could do this at a TV show or like a game. We could have people just can collectively film themselves going down on their partners and have their partners pepper spray them in the face whilst they're crying and trying to give an orgasm to their lover. And you can just post it online, and we can just track all the submitted videos and see who's done it the fastest. There's an honor system in that. Of course, please don't be cheating. Don't come in there, fucking after losing something that's like that. So I don't want you to come to this show and with something devastating that has just happened to you, and you're like, I'm gonna take this show and just get out a couple of tears. I don't if you the fucking honor system. Don't come in there if you've had bad news the morning of. If you had if you've found out that the threesome that you schedule for the afternoon is canceled, and you fucking come in there, that's cheating, dog. That's fucking cheating. If you come in there fuck, I'm so bummed out, this threesome is something I've been looking forward to, but it's fucking canceled now, and you're fucking all in your emotions and feelings, and that's not fair. It can't be, don't be cheating, essentially is what I'm saying. It's fucking keep it legit, and that's the name of the show. I'll let the people decide whether or not we want to take this, public, or keep it low-key just between us. Leave a comment, of course. And this brings me to something that I just saw, like many of you guys and gals out there. It happened quickly, happened fast, but it also has been accumulating over the past few months. Apparently, Sam Altman and Elon Musk are at it again. Maybe they were at it just one time, but it's continued. Now they're going to court. I don't know why they're in court. I think it's family feud shit. I think they're clearly they're in I think they're gay together, and maybe they got a family together, and now they're getting a divorce, and now they're fighting to see who gets the children. If I'm right, then so be it. That shows that there can be divorce. Gay marriages fail too. That's the moral of this story between Sam Altman and Elon Musk. Gay people have troubles too. There you go. It's not all fucking rainbows and poppers. It's heartbreak at the same time too. I don't know if that's what it's about, but that's what my gut feeling tells me. Could also be about OpenAI, and could be that Elon Musk wants like his due for OpenAI, because like they got in together, and like Elon Musk said, hey Sam Altman, despite the fact that you got weird fucking eyebrows, man, I'm gonna fund you so we can together we can work on OpenAI. And they did that in 2015. They started together, I think. And then Elon went in there with a bunch of cash. He stuffed it into Sam Altman's ass, and Sam Altman took that money, rinsed it off, and then they put that money into the OpenAI. And at first, Elon was like, we should make this for profit. And then Sam Altman was like, no, man, I'm totally altruistic, bro. We're gonna totally do this all altruistic. And the OpenAI and the ChatGPT, all of it's gonna be for altruistic purpose. It's gonna be for non-for-profit. And then later in 2018, sometime after the initial investment, and then the company got, fucking propped up, Elon dipped out, and then Sam Altman continued to work there with other people, and then they eventually turned the company from non-for-profit to for-profit. I think we should just end this thing, the whole non-for-profit. I'd like to end it today if we can. There's no such thing as non-for-profit. There's no such thing as a non-for-profit. They don't exist. You can't have a business for who does this? Who does this non-for-profit? Who are these non-for-profit? Which business out there goes out to, I'm going to make a business, I'm going to work really hard and make no money. This is a non-for-profit. We only take deficits. We only take L's in this business. Nah, profit's not for this guy. Maybe others like to profit. Nah, this business is going down and further down. Even then, look at us in 5 years from now. We'll be so fucking far down that, you wouldn't even be able to recognize us. This is a non-for-profit. So yeah, let's end non-for-profits if we can. But nonetheless, they're beefing. I think I think whoever, I don't know who's going to win the battle in court. Whoever does should get the right to the other person's life as well. Like, we can't have too many tech bros, dude. It's just too much. Too many tech bros. Okay, have Peter Thiel, have Elon Musk, and Sam Altman. Maybe there are a few other ones that I can't think of off the top of my head, but have them all engage in some sort of maybe like a ritualistic, maybe put them in a UFC fight, maybe like a tournament sort of thing. Winner gets all, dude. Winner gets all. You become the only techno daddy, and you fucking get into AI. You fucking monitor everybody. You fucking, you create the weapons, sell the weapons. You do the rockets. You go to the moon. You drill the holes. You do the, surveillance. You do the drones. You do the, facial recognition, all of it, collectively all of it. But you also get to take over the other individuals' lives. So if Elon wins this court case, I say he gets Sam Altman's boyfriend. I think Sam Altman's got a boyfriend, or maybe a husband. Maybe they got a kid together as well. I'm not quite sure. So he gets their kid. And if Sam Altman wins, you get a whole bunch of baby mamas. You get all that. You get all the businesses. You get all the rockets. You get all the digging the holes, and you get the satellites, and then you get the Starlink. But you also have to pay a lot of money for the baby mamas, and you got that responsibility now too. And if Peter Thiel wins, he then gets to just fucking, he gets full body tattoo, red paint, and he comes out and gets into, he becomes the devil. Peter Thiel becomes the devil, right? Peter Thiel gets a full body tattoo, red ink, becomes the devil, splits his tongue into, gets a pitchfork and kind of like stabs people in the side, like just not too much, but like a little bit, just where the ribs are, just. Nonetheless, neither here or there, but it breaks my heart. It breaks my heart to see billionaires fighting when they have so much in common. And fucking put all that aside you for real. If we can just have them put all that aside you and just swim in your loads of cash. Just do that. This one gets me happy, and it gets me, this is the real shit, dog. This is that real shit. This is that fucking real shit. This is what we're here for, motherfuckers. Department of Justice finally does it. or they continue to do it. They did it. They indicted David Morans. This motherfucker, their dirty motherfucker is indicted now. He used to be a former senior advisor to Anthony Fauci. Doesn't matter. Anthony Fauci, that son of a bitch. Fucking AIDS spreading monkey's asshole licking, fecal matter flicking AIDS distributor. Anthony Fauci used to be an advisor to this guy. No, this guy used to be David Morans was an advisor to Anthony Fauci. He's been indicted because the Department of Justice has been probing into the old origins of COVID, and they found out that David Morans and others, there were others too, there were other co-conspirators, but he's been indicted on charges of destruction of evidence, falsification of evidence, removal of evidence too. He's destructing evidence, destroying evidence, falsifying evidence, going there and falsifying evidence, and then removing evidence. But the most disturbing one, the one that caught my attention, removal of evidence. That's, you son of a bitch. You're fucking, when there's an investigation going on, your federal investigation is going on, he's doing destruction. He's doing fucking falsification. He's doing removal. And then the most disturbing one was mutilation of information. Mutilation of documents and information. This fucking freak is getting documents and mutilating the documents. I didn't know this was a thing, but you can apparently mutilate the documents. So whilst everybody else was out there having fun, David Morans was looking at these innocent documents and saying, hey, come here, their documents, and tricking them and mutilating them and saying that you're gonna have some, these documents don't have any tits. Would you like to have some tits? And he attached the tits to the documents, and then the documents were innocent and unaware that the tits aren't gonna fix that or what's bothering them. It's what's inside that counts. And some other documents got mutilated too. Like a document had a full-grown penis, and David Morans saw this document with the long hog, and he's like, let me take a couple of inches off it. That's too much. That's too much. Too much cack for one document. Loki, I think he was jealous of the size of the cock on that document, but he pretended to be a circumciser, and mutilated the document, and the document can't get erect, and it can barely please his woman at this point, and their marriage is fallen apart because of the inflicted mutilation to the document. I'm just glad that justice is being served. Every document deserves to be healthy and be open to the Freedom of Information Act, and live their lives and reach their potentials. Like they shouldn't be, there shouldn't be any impediments into their growth, and we should not give hormone blockers to documents who are under a certain age. It's not good, because then these documents will fucking have regrets and maybe do horrible things to themselves later on. But I'm just glad that we fucking caught this son of a bitch. And if he mutilated documents, what did Anthony Fauci do then? This dirty AIDS ridden son of a bitch. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, make up your own minds and think for yourselves out there, and seeing is believing, and also question things and have fun out there is what I'm trying to tell you. Peace out. Get out of here.